Good evening. I'm your host. I'm Fred Blanchard, and you're listening to Adrenaline Motorsports. Tonight, we have our guest back, Steve Montrelli, and he had some fascinating stories from our last show last week. And we're about to continue on with some of the stories that he had regarding his history and his connection with some favorite and more very notable people like Mickey Thompson and Don Schumacher and people of that nature. And what I want to do now is introduce you to Mr. Montrelli. Steve, good evening. Glad to have you here.
Hi, Fred.
Steve, one of the things that we talked about last week was your ventures with Mickey Thompson and your employment with him, and you didn't really get into a lot of the project cars, and maybe you'd like to talk about some of that this evening. Maybe you can give us an update as to what some of that was.
Yeah, well, when I was with Mickey's teams and started running the cars, basically we ran, I believe, 4 different funny cars. One was a Mustang, and then 2 of them were Pintos, and then another Mustang, and then I think there was one other car, the Grand Am, that we ran at the last drag race at Lions Drag Strip. It was a 1972 Grand Am, and we ran it one race, Dale Poley and I, and after that, Mickey had kind of quit racing. Ford Motor Company had gone away, and he was kind of sponsoring his old cars, spending the money. He decided to go with a different driver and crew chief, which the gentleman said he could do it all, and they went racing with it. And he only made one race and had some difficulties. And later on, they built another new car, and Dale Poley started driving for Mickey Thompson. And then a gentleman named Bob Pickett got a sponsor from the Marines, and they ran the Mickey Thompson Marine car.
That was one of the questions I wanted to ask, because when you said that Ford Motor Company was no longer sponsoring some of the projects that you guys were involved with, I wanted to know pretty much where some of the other sponsorship funds came from, and now you've alluded to the Marine Corps, and that's pretty much a big sponsor.
Right. Prior to the Grand Am, when we were running the Pinto and running the Boss 429, after we ran it about 16 months, and I had said we wasn't too successful with it. We did a lot of match racing with it and put on good shows, but the motor didn't produce exactly what we wanted to do. So what we did is Mickey was, like I say, paying it out of his pocket, so I kind of went in partnerships with Mickey, and what the deal was is we had, let's just say 75 races for the year. We would run Pomona, and then we would leave and go back to Florida and then work our way back here, and we'd be gone for about 7 months and run a lot of races that were all guaranteed money. We were booked in, so during the middle of the year, we bought a Chrysler motor from the Ram Chargers back in Detroit and put it in the car, and after that, we were very, very successful. I had something I could tune on, and Dale was always a very good driver. That car was very successful. It was runner-up that year at Indy. We raced McCullough in the final. That was the first year McCullough won Indianapolis, and since then he's won 7 times. We also, that same year, we ran Pomona World Finals, and we raced McCullough again in the final, and he beat us. So we never could get by McCullough, but that was the Pinto. And then after the Pinto, like I say, the Grand Am and the last drag race was the history of that car. And I had just moved in a brand new home the next weekend when Mickey said he was going to quit racing. And I said, well, I told my wife, I says, we were sitting there on a Saturday morning, first night we'd been in the house, and we were having a cup of coffee, and I says, well, I guess I got to find a job. And lo and behold, about an hour and a half later, Don Schumacher calls me.